The mice plague ravaging regional New South Wales has left one family homeless after the rodents chewed through the electrical wiring in their Narrabri house, sparking a devastating fire. It's just one of the casualties in a plague that's destroying livelihoods across the state and is possibly headed towards Sydney. Joining me live now is Xavier Martin, Vice President of the New South Wales Farmers Association. Thanks very much for your time. We had a big announcement from the New South Wales Government on particular poisons to use, but they're not actually legal as yet.
That's correct. We welcomed the government recognition that this is a natural disaster, a plague, not just an event or a problem or something, as the Minister was calling it. So that announcement 2 weeks ago, we welcomed it. But since then, they promised $50 million, but even householders and shop owners are getting turned away from Service New South Wales and told to come back in July, apparently, because that $50 million is not available for us with a promise of free bait is just nonsense. There's this concept that it might be available in a week or two if it's permitted by the authorities with strict conditions, apparently for perimeters. Hello, the mice are all over the landscape. They're not queuing around the boundary fence. And the mice are coming to Sydney. We're getting reports from the outskirts now from our members, our producers, horticulturists, Central Coast. They're spreading. They're not staying on one side of the range. They're not staying on one side of the river. They're just, they're absolutely in full plague proportions. And you mentioned the damage to assets, to houses. We're seeing tractors that are burnt to the ground. We're seeing vehicles damaged, people bitten in their beds at night, in hospital being bitten. This is a serious plague.
So this poison getting approved, the Pesticides Authority doesn't always act that swiftly. You've mentioned some of the concerns they might be looking at. I mean, you're talking about wildlife and pets as well, I guess, at risk. So what are you hoping happens from here?
Oh, look, the product that the Minister announced with great fanfare about free, we now know as bromadiolone, which went off permit in 2017, apparently for some really good reasons. And certainly our members who care for domestic animals and native animals in the landscape have told us that the issues around secondary toxicity and its effect are serious. At the moment, farmers are racing to try and get 6 million hectares of winter crop in the ground, and we're spreading 70 tonnes of zinc phosphide a day. I mean, that product kills a mouse within about an hour or less, and it's toxic. It turns into a gas in their gut within a day. The problem with the Minister's product is it takes 7 days to kill, in which case they can easily wipe out an emerging canola crop in a couple of nights. But worse than that, the toxicity in the carcass remains for 100 to 200 days. So therein lies the problem for dogs, farm dogs, pigs, poultry, let alone the raptors and the hawks, the powerful owl, the wedge-tailed eagle, the barn owls, they're all then vulnerable for that 100 to 200 days.
So, Xavier, a sense of frustration. We're nearly out of time, but do you feel as though until maybe this really gets into Sydney and that the size of this becomes clear, then that might be when there's some swifter action?
Oh, look, we've got a great theory presented out there by Minister Marshall and the Berejiklian-Barilaro government. It's announced to fund $50 million, and we had a press release a day last week from the Minister, and he's disappeared without a trace this week. So we're calling on the Premier and Deputy Premier to get hold of this and solve it today.
Xavier Martin, New South Wales Farmers Federation, appreciate your time. We do hope that you can get the help and the tools you need. It's awful to watch, I'm sure, much worse to be in. Thank you.